What goodness gracious, Internet. My name is Attack Slug, and welcome to my WWE Great Balls of Fire predictions video. The first ever Great Balls of Fire pay-per-view, hopefully the last ever Great Balls of Fire. Hashtag WWE Balls this Sunday night. And there are 8 matches on this card, so I have my predictions getting ready to go here. As always, let me know what you think down in the comments below, who you think is going to win this Sunday at Great Balls of Fire. So let's get started here with the kickoff match, the kickoff show for the Cruiserweight Championship. Those poor Cruiserweights back on the pre-show. It is Neville and his Neville level, and it is Akira Tozawa, the power of Tozawa, part of the Titus brand from 205 Live, etc., etc. So your champion Neville, who is the king of the Cruiserweights, versus Tozawa, and this one, it's like, look, if you weren't going to give the belt to Austin Aries, after some very, very excellent matches with Austin Aries, I just don't see them giving the belt to Akira Tozawa. As much as I enjoy the Titus brand, and the ha, 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 like, I dig that stuff, but I just don't see them having, like, all those hard-fought matches with Austin Aries, and you don't give him the belt, but all of a sudden you would give it to Tozawa. I just don't see it happening. So, I don't know. We'll see how that plays out, but as of right now, I am calling Neville to retain his Cruiserweight Championship and continue being the king of the Cruiserweights. You know, get on one knee and whatnot. Next up, we have Enzo and Cass. Perhaps the biggest storyline on Raw in recent weeks was Cass finally turning on Enzo after not being able to win the tag team titles on any brand and being all, you know, mad about it. And man, this one, I feel like, look, you know they would want to give the victory on the guy who got turned on, but the size difference between Enzo and Cass, and the fact that this match does not have any special stipulations. Had it been a hardcore match, no holds barred, balls count anywhere, one of those, then sure, you can say, alright, then that could give Enzo a reason to not necessarily cheat, but obviously have an advantage, or, you know, he'd be able to use some kind of weapon advantage against the much, much bigger Cass. So I'm calling Cass because this is just a straight-up one-on-one match, so Enzo's gonna ragdoll real good, and unless there's some kind of a, you know, magic roll-up or something, then I don't see any other way for Enzo to get a victory here against Cass. Anyway, moving on, we have our Intercontinental title match. The men that have been feuding for what feels like forever. They were doing it on SmackDown. They're doing it on Raw. That's right. It's The Miz, who is your IC champion, against the lunatic fringe Dean Ambrose. The Miz has the Miz-Taraj and Maurice. And as far as I know, they have not banned any of those from ringside. Now, here's the only reason I want The Miz to retain. If The Miz retains the belt, that means Dean Ambrose, by logic, would not have any more rematches, and these two could finally go their separate ways and not have us watch Dean Ambrose against The Miz for like the 45th time in the past year. Like, they've managed to keep it a little bit fresh with adding different things into it, but it's still, these guys have been feuding for, like, you know, since the Ice Age. It's ridiculous. So, I'm going to say Miz retains his IC title. Now then, we have your tag team titles. There goes my TV. Our tag team titles here. Your champions, Sheamus and Cesaro, fighting the Hardys, who are still not broken, in a 30-minute Iron Man match. And that has the potential to be one of the best matches of the night. If these guys, I mean, obviously they're being given the time, right? And a lot of wrestlers kind of get shortchanged on the amount of time they had to put on a compelling match. So having the time here, this match has the potential to be pretty freaking cool. So, I don't know. They keep saying, oh, well, here's F5. Oh, well, they're closer and closer to having the Hardys own the Broken brand. But I've been hearing that for a while now, and there goes Lesnar just squashing Joe pretty good. And at this point, I'm just kind of getting tired of them teasing it, and we have no idea whether or not it's actually going to happen or not. But I'd say in this capacity, we need to have things, I guess, freshen up again a little bit, and there needs to be at least one title change on this show. So I think the Hardys will somehow, some way, pull off that final pinfall. Hopefully it won't be a draw, because that would just kind of extend this feud even further. I think if you have the Hardys, get that one final pinfall and, get up one, and then they win their tag team titles. And then at that point, if you want to, start the stuff with if they got that rights to the Brooklyn stuff, then start it when they're champions, and then have them break up as champions. You can do a whole thing there, but it kind of depends on whether or not they can, and we don't know yet. But I'm going to say my official call is going to be the Hardys as your new tag team champions. Anyway, moving on, we have the perhaps most, or the least built, or kind of one of the most background feuds, because I kind of don't understand why they're feuding, and that's Seth freaking Rollins versus Bray Wyatt. And I'm like, as far as I can tell, Bray Wyatt is mad that Seth is on the cover of 2K18, because otherwise, like, what is this feud even for? Why? I mean, it should be, presented as more important. This is the first time that we've had these two fight in a one-on-one pay-per-view match, so that's significant, right? So I don't know. They haven't given me a reason to care about this, and part of that is just the same tired Bray Wyatt promos over and over again. I think Seth as a face is just, he's kind of there. He's obviously not the top face on the brand. That's supposed to be Roman Reigns, and that's a whole different thing. But I really, look, Bray Wyatt, in the past, I don't know how many years now, since they stopped having the Wyatt family, Bray Wyatt is the eater of pinfalls above everything else. So I think Bray Wyatt needs a win here. He could use a win, but will he get one over Seth freaking Rollins? I have my doubts. So at some point you would have Bray start to feud with Finn Balor, and that could be more interesting. But this whole Bray-Seth feud is kind of doing nothing for me. So you know what? I'm going to say Seth wins just because Seth wins. LOL. I don't know. Anyway, moving on to your Raw Women's Championship match. We have your champion, Alexa Bliss, versus the boss, Sasha Banks. And again, this is they've kind of been somewhat building this, but not really. And honestly, the fact that Sasha had Alexa tapping out on Raw, the go-home show before the pay-per-view, usually means the champion is going to retain. That's kind of how that thing usually plays out. But this could be the most interesting match of the night, only because that I keep hearing that these two ladies have legit heat with each other from some stiff shots in NXT and that kind of thing. So I'll be curious to see how that match itself plays out, and if things get a little bit too real in that match. That's kind of where I'm paying the most attention to. But yeah, I say Alexa retains because whatever. She's clearly the face of the Raw Women's Division, so I don't see why she wouldn't. And then you eventually build up to Alexa and Nia Jax. So, that being said, we have this match. An ambulance match versus the Monster Among Men. Or, the Monster Among Men versus the Big Dog. It's Braun Strowman, Roman Reigns for fifth time, something like that. And these two usually put on a very good match. But here's the thing. We don't know what the plan is going into SummerSlam, right? The original plan, we had heard, was that they wanted to have, to keep Roman and Brock apart until WrestleMania, and then once again crown Roman Reigns champion at WrestleMania, and the fans boo, etc., right? So, we also heard that they wanted to have Brock and Braun at SummerSlam. There's a spare, right? But originally, Brock and Braun were supposed to be fighting here at Cannonballs of Fire, but then Braun hurt his elbow and, that whole thing, right? So, it's who is Brock Lesnar fighting at SummerSlam? Because whoever he's fighting at SummerSlam is going to win tonight, because there's kind of no other option. So because we don't know what their plans are for SummerSlam, this match is very hard to predict. But you know what? I think Braun's awesome. So I have a hard time ever voting against Braun, even though, you know, Roman wins, LOL, because it's Roman Reigns, the big dog, the guy. But screw that. Braun needs this more than Roman. You want to keep Braun as that monster, and having him lose to Roman, you know, would just be like, hey, guess what? Roman wins again. Now, granted, Roman hasn't been winning recently, and Braun has been getting the upper hand of Roman, so some payback could be in order. But come on. Braun tipped an ambulance. This is an ambulance match. Common sense dictates this is Braun's type of match, and he should win it, so I'm going to go Braun. Don't screw me on this. Anyway, your main event of the evening for the Universal Championship. It's your boy, Brock Lesnar, the man who shows up when he wants, where he wants, and where there is Jimmy Johns as the champion versus the Samoan submission machine, Samoa Joe. And they've been doing a really good job of building up Joe. He missed the second spear. They've been doing a really good job of building up Joe as a credible threat. Now, everyone has said, oh, this is a one-off match. That all the guys who were in that Fatal 5-Way will get one-off matches between now and Mania to have them all get beat by Brock. And then, obviously, LOL, Roman wins at Mania. But, here's the thing. The last two pay-per-views, which was Money in the Bank and Backlash, they went out of their way to do something shocking enough to get a bunch of people on YouTube filming crazy, shocked reaction videos. So, do they go 3 for 3? Because what else on this show would be a shocking moment besides Joe beating Brock? Now, I don't know where you would go from there. I don't know how you would, at what point you get the belt back off of Joe onto somebody else to eventually get back to Brock and Roman or whatever else. But I feel like if you're going to do a shocking moment, it would be Joe winning the title. So, even though the betting odds say Brock, even though all smart money, all logical booking says Brock, I'm going to go against the grain here and say that your new Universal Champion will be Samoa Joe. That is one wild Samoan, according to Booker T. So, I don't know. That's just... I feel like they want to keep having these shocking moments on pay-per-view, and that would be kind of the only logical one to have here that would get people talking. Like anything else, win, lose, whatever, all those matches could kind of go either way, but they spend so much time building Brock as this invincible beast. Just spitballing here on what I'd like to see happen. Although, I think we all know Brock's probably going to retain that belt. But no, I'm calling Joe. My official prediction is calling Joe. So, there you go. I'm Attack Slug. I thank you for watching this predictions video. Let me know who you think is going to win down in the comments below. And I will see you back here every day for more videos. Splash Mountain. Right here on this channel. Goodness gracious, great balls of fire. And I'm out.